Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second public hearing for the block grant. Before we get started with our budget, I have a small informational statement that I'd like to read. This is the community block grant, which is known as CDBG. This is a federal grant that was established in the mid-1970s by President Ford, the late President Ford. It is a federal grant that Dearborn Heights has applied for and received for over 40 years as a direct recipient. We are lucky to have enough population to get this as a direct recipient. My job, along with my staff, is to apply, administer, and report all the financial back to HUD, who administer this particular program. In addition, I'd like to thank the administration, especially Mayor Dan Paletko, and all of the city council members that have supported us and helped us keep this grant coming to our great city of Dearborn Heights. At this point, I'd like to get into our budget, which is the 2020-2021 proposed budget. And I'm going to read just a couple of paragraphs here. The Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, is a federal program that is administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, HUD. CDBG funds are provided to states and units of local governments. As an entitlement community such as ours, the City of Dearborn Heights is authorized to fund eligible activities that meet national and local goals and objectives. The broad national objectives are something that we have gone through over and over. And just to let you know that all of this information that I'm reading is available here. It will be available at the CDBG department, and we will put a copy of this online as well under our department website. The 2020-2021 Annual Action Plan directs funds primarily toward meeting the national objective of benefiting low, moderate income persons. Dearborn Heights anticipates an estimated total allocation of $1,039,593 in CDBG funding for the fiscal year 2020-2021 program year. Program income for CDBG program is expected in the amount of $100,000. The city also anticipates almost $10,000 of prior year's resources to be expended in the 2020-2021 program year. CDBG funds are proposed to be used in the following activities. And now I'm going to go through the activities, and I'm going to put the dollar sign next to it, and I'm going to pass it on to Chris afterwards. The CDBG activities for 2020-2021, we have the public works projects. We have code enforcement, which is funding to provide code enforcement inspections with areas of low and moderate income. We are proposing, we have $100,000. That would include the ordinance department along with the building department. Second line item we have is demolition program, the demolition and clearance of blighted structures such as houses that needs to be demolished throughout the city of Dearborn Heights. We have $50,000 available for that. The third line item we have is the Van Houten Park ADA play structure. The funds will be used for replacement of an aging non-ADA compliant play structure with a new ADA compliant play structure in the Van Houten Park. The city will pick up some of the expenses through the Parks and Recreation, and we are allocating $75,000 toward this particular project. The water main replacement, we have $250,000. The water main replacement is the replacement of aging water main located within a low and moderate income area of the city. This particular project will consist of 2,400 linear feet of water main along Joy Road from Telegraph Road to Hazelton Avenue, and that has been vetted out and approved by HUD as well. Rehabilitation services projects. We have the housing rehabilitation, which helps a lot of low to moderate income people. we have allocated $276,636. This is a deferred, no-interest loan for eligible low and moderate income homeowners to rehabilitate single-family homes. Application accepted on first-come, first-served basis, and emergency assistance is also provided to eligible families. This is a program that I usually talk about throughout the year. We try to push it as much as we can, and with the help of the staff, especially Mr. Bazzi, we have pretty much got rid of the waiting list, so we don't have a waiting list. We start working on any application right away. The next line item is the public service projects, and this is on, obviously, it has a cap of 15% of the total budget. We talked about that in length last time, but today I'm just going to talk about the allocation of the money. So we have crime prevention, $50,000. This money supports funding for crime prevention services for qualified limited clientele residents and residents within the low and moderate income areas of Dearborn Heights. Activities include personal safety seminars for seniors, disabled, and support for abused children and spouses. And that's, again, $50,000. The Fair Housing Center, Metro Detroit. This particular agency provides funding to the Fair Housing Center of Detroit to assist the city with fair housing issues and complaints. And we have given them $6,000. We're proposing $6,000 for them. Salvation Army, we are proposing $3,000. Senior Citizen Services, this is to provide support funding for operation at the Berwyn and the Eaton Center senior centers, including staff, utilities, senior programs, and services. And the allocation for that is $108,038. We finally have the Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency. We are proposing $3,000 for that. And then obviously we have the General Administration Planning, which is capped at 20%, which is $227,918. All of this dollar amounts total up to $1,149,592. This is the budget that we are proposing for next year. At this point, I'd like to pass it on to Chris, who's my coordinator, and he's going to talk about the upcoming agenda and dates and what have you. Chris, please.
Thank you, Joe. Just a recap and a future timetable for the process to approve the upcoming grant that we're going to apply for, the CDBG. Public hearing was held on January 28th of this year to discuss potential projects and applications received for funding for the 2020-2021 program year. This public hearing was a part of a two-part process, and this is the second part tonight, that is required by HUD regulations. A summary of all proposals was presented at the public hearing, and comments were solicited from the public. A second public hearing is being held right now, March 11th, in order to present the proposed 2020-2021 budget, which is what Joe just explained with all of our proposed amounts for each of the activities. And we're proposing that to the public tonight to receive additional comment on the 2020 annual action plan. A public hearing will be held on Wednesday, April 15th, at 2020 this year at 5 p.m. That will be scheduled at the City of Dearborn Heights City Hall Council Chambers right here, 6045 Fenton Avenue here in Dearborn Heights. And that will be to secure public input on any potential floodplain project issues. In addition, starting next Wednesday, a week from today, March 18th, a 30-day public comment period will be held, and that will run through April 17th of 2020 for the purpose of receiving comments from interested citizens concerning the proposed use of the Federal Housing and Community Development Block Grant funds, and the draft 2020-2021 annual action plan will also be made available on that date, which is again a week from tonight, which is on March 18th. The draft documents will be made available for public review at the libraries, the JFK Junior and the Caroline Kennedy Library, and in the city clerk's office, as well as in our Dearborn Heights Community and Economic Development Department. And then finally, consideration for the final adoption of the 2020 action plan will be held on April 28th, 2020. So it's upcoming timetable. We're hoping the public can be involved as much as possible, and we will hopefully have that adoption in sometime in late April and move on with the start of our program year, which is July 1 of this year. Thank you very much, and back to you, Joe.
At this point, I'd like to open up to questions. If anybody has any questions or comments, please. Councilman, Mayor. Okay. I want to thank Chris Klemchuk, my coordinator, who does a lot of work and helped me put this together. Also like to thank Jason Smith, who is my consultant, Mr. Bazzi, who does the rehabilitation program in our department. From all of us at CDBG, we'd like to thank you and wish you all a great, a good night, and we'd like to call this meeting to a close. Thank you very much.